can't slow down.
God damn it, Jordan. Well, I appreciate you putting yourself in a dangerous situation to join us. To listen to some really shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many laws are you breaking?
Probably none of them, as long as he's not holding his phone.
Yeah, I have push to talk, so I have to touch the button when I talk.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I have my phone on one of those little stands.
Well, hello, Internet. This is Fanfiction Contempt 9002, and I'm SneakyDevil. We got Jorp in the car, and Atin here.
Fuck! Are we live? I have no break!
Oh, Christ, now this is this shit show.
Let me just pump Jorp up a bit so everyone can hear him a little bit better.
Now, if you want to see Sneaking pumping Jorp up, that's extra, folks.
No.
If you want to pump, you know, we can work out a deal. We can talk about a payment plan, or you can just give me some crack cocaine, and I probably won't argue.
Just for that. Just for that.
You knew what you were doing when you put us on the show.
Let's see.
This is why we can't go to Mixer.
This is actually why we can't go to Mixer. You know what else? The reason why we can't go to Mixer is because of this.
I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna make a Mixer account, and I'm gonna stream exclusively while stoned.
Funnily enough, I didn't see anything in the TOS against that.
Yeah, actually. It was just alcohol and cigarettes and vaping.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you smoke a blunt with Major Nelson before you go on, it's okay. You just can't do it on air.
No, seriously, like you know, if you're in the appropriate state and it's legal, I didn't see anything in their TOS about it. So
anyway, let's see. Naruto fix. You guys want to do a Naruto fic? We haven't done a Naruto fic in a while.
Well, you know, I thought last week you were trying to torture me with a Fire Emblem fic, but you just never did it.
Yeah, well, I got distracted. Let's see.
Let's do a Naruto fic where he goes to a vape shop and he has to pick out his favorite flavor.
I don't think that exists.
Oh, I bet it exists. Maybe not on
exists.
Fanfiction. Probably on some stupid site like Archive.
Oh my god, I'm gonna write a Naruto fanfic where instead of jutsus, they all have their own like vapor pens, and the jutsus are actually the different flavors they have. So they put in the jewels and shit, and that's how they cast their magic.
Oh my god.
Level 20 vapor. He can bust the fattest clouds.
You'll never stand up to my blue berry yum yum jutsu.
See, the sad thing is, even odds are that's a flavor.
Oh god. Okay, so how about SG1 Harry Potter? How do you guys feel about that?
That sounds like a miserable idea. Let's see it.
You guys remember the good old days when you could go to Omegle and you'd go on and you'd type Harry Potter RP as one of your interests, and you'd get girls who wanted to have sexual Harry Potter roleplays with you?
No,
because I never cared about Harry Potter enough to check that.
Yeah, no.
They were probably men.
This is a entire.
I was gonna say they're the same guys responsible for writing Catboy Harry.
Oh god, I fucking remember that. Alright, let's put this into covered fics, and I'll link this one out, of course. Do not contact the authors of these fanfictions. That is against the Twitch terms of service. Harry Potter and the Chance at a New Life. Stargate Harry Potter crossover.
Honestly, it just sounds like such a poor idea, no matter how you slice it.
Well, you see, the problem is Stargate's a very big universe, and unless you're going to have Harry join the SG-1 team and he goes around just fixing all the problems before they become problems, so the SG-1 team never actually gets to go through their episodic format, yeah, it'd be pretty boring.
Well, aliens are actually weak to magic, so Harry Potter's got the advantage.
It's possible. A small change in Harry's battle with the Basilisk had him slowly absorbing Voldemort's memories through the Horcrux in his scar. Follow Harry as he made preparations to leave the Wizarding World behind for good and embark on a long, exciting journey into the unknown. Little does Harry expect to be launched into a world of false gods and spaceships. Smart, powerful, gray, hairy harem. There's no harem. I just tacked that on.
Thank Christ.
Damn it, Sneaky, I was excited.
I know. I wanted to make you excited.
Look, listen. It's like the time we were promised a story that had Reaper sex. It was nothing but a lie.
And if this was a Harry Potter Star Ocean crossover, there'd be harem.
Update note on this chapter. So, the first chapter on this story is extremely rough, but still fits the purpose it was supposed to. Therefore, I am not planning on changing it at all.
Oh, what a shame.
That being said, I hope you bear through the next couple chapters, because they're going to be cliched and Mary Sue-ish. Why would I ever read... It's like, oh yeah, so, you're gonna get shot a couple times, but afterwards, you get to shoot the gun. No! Pass! Hard pass! Let's move on!
That's called the Harvey Weinstein approach to casting.
Wow.
Whew.
Alright, so, here you go, lads. Let us begin the reading. I don't realize I'm not even on the wait screen. No, I know I'm on the wait screen. I keep it there because fuck you. I wanted to piss you off. Now you're pissed off and I'm satisfied. The author's note. This is my first fan fiction and my first real attempt at a novel-length fiction. Well, I mean, you actually did make a good attempt at that. So you got 2 books out on this story. So, kudos to you, author. You actually wrote what you intended to. I am a rabid reader and a lover of fan fiction. However, I'm also dyslexic. This meant I have been reserved about writing myself. Well, it's really easy to get around dyslexia. You see, first step is
I was about to fucking say.
Yeah, first step, as someone who is so dyslexic they cannot see out of one eye, let me explain to you how you circumvent dyslexia.
I don't think your blindness is related to you, unless I'm wrong, and it is actually medically
in my
related.
right eye. No, so in my right eye, I'm going like normal blind, like vision going cloudy blind. In my left eye, I have 20/20 vision, but my nerve was malformed, so I'm so dyslexic in that eye, I can't even tell shapes at all. Period. All I can see is color.
Have you considered that this is just God trying to tell you that you aren't fit to continue living?
I have considered that.
Yeah, so we have these things called spell check, which renders dyslexia pretty much obsolete in the modern era.
Surprisingly, yeah, you have to use the spell check, of course. That is a major hurdle that a lot of people have trouble with, but yeah, there is a lot of spell checks out there.
They make it pretty easy by fucking redlining the things you spell wrong.
And greenlining the things that you grammar wrong.
Yeah, but the green light gets confusing because you might think that means go, like you're doing good grammar.
Wait, why is someone accusing me of being British? What?
Do you remember those old Disney Channel commercials with Bella Thorne where she was like, "Oh, I'm Bella Thorne and I'm dyslexic. I was a retard when I was a kid too, but now I've gotten over it. I'm a Disney Channel."
And the feed cuts out.
For the best, probably.
But, anyway, so on top of the spell checker, there's this magical little thing called talking to other people. And, using this mystical skill that is actually a racial ability unique to humans. You can request for other people to look at the words that you have put on a page before you hit that submit button. I know, it's a wild concept. It only caught on around 150,000 years ago.
You better check your friend privilege there, buddy. Not everybody has friends to read their work.
Everybody has friends. On the internet, everyone is your friend. No one would ever lie on the internet.
I'm fairly certain that's the opposite of the truth. One might even call it a blatant lie.
Yeah, I follow Donald Trump on Twitter. He's got, like, no friends.
Anyway. This means that if my writing comes off as odd or wrong, it's just me being dyslexic. That's not how you can't dyslexic words in a sentence. You dyslexic the letters, you can dyslexic the numbers.
Well, actually, I was going to say, for numbers, that's actually a different thing. That's dyscalculia.
Yeah, well, yes, but yeah. But, like, I as far as I'm aware, I have, because dyslexia specifically is your brain interpreting certain shapes and symbols as a different symbol or shape. Because it's unable to determine for whatever reason, blah, 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 whether it's by your nerve or by your brain or by your eye.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as I know, you can't just take entire fucking words with dyslexia and accidentally read them out of order. That'd be extremely impressive in my personal opinion. And if that is indeed what your problem is, author, I would suggest you seek medical assistance. Like, not even, like, ironically or anything, like, seriously. If that is a problem, seek medical assistance. There's a lot of shit in life you have to read. And you have to read it clearly and concisely, and you have to know what you're reading, because there is a lot of shit you can get yourself into if you don't read what you're signing.
I was going to say, sadly, unless it's like an unholy long thing like a EULA, I didn't read it is not a defense in court.
Yeah. Well, especially that only applies to digital stuff though. Like loans, mortgages, like any sort of a NDA agreement, legal stuff, like actual legal stuff. You cannot get away with I didn't read it right.
Yeah.
So that being
what
said,
you have to do is tell them you can't read English.
Yeah. But that being said, however, what you should also be doing again is getting someone to double check before you post. Because if they can read over it and go, hey, yeah, this looks a little bit weird here. Did you mean to say blah instead of yeah? And you go, oh, yeah, is that what I said there? Yeah. It's a process called competency. I know.
And editing.
Hard concept, I know. This story, author's note. This story came to me because of my love for Stargate and Harry Potter fanfictions, more so their crossovers. This means I will have many cliches in this story.
Now, let's get back on the crazy train of the actual story.
Oh, I'm still reading the actual story.
God.
All right, guys, I made it to my destination, but I have no brakes on the car. We can't stop.
Well, folks, that's just it. You just witnessed
Dorf.
death live.
Coming in.
Come back again next week when it's Max's turn.
Anyway, I have 10 pages of outline for this story already. Only 10? But there is no means of the entire story outline, okay? So, I give the author credit where it's due. He actually seems like he's trying here, except he kind of only went halfway with his trying. It's like, you got the foundation, and that's great when you're building the house. You got the foundation set, and then instead of building the frame of the house, you kind of just put the walls up without anything to hold them up.
You skipped over the drywall. You skipped over the studs.
Skipped over the frame. Never had the inspector come over and be like, yo, hey, man. The house isn't connected to the foundation. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah. I only have a few ideas for this story. Blah, 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 blah. I hope I'll be able to write this. Does not have beta ATM.
That explains several problems.
This chapter author's note. That's right. He has 3 different author's notes. An author's note, a story author's note, and a chapter author's note. Because apparently he has to explain every bit of his thought process before someone reads it, so he can just, get it out of the way that, look, what you're about to read is probably garbage. And don't worry. I have a plan, and I'm stupid. So I'm excused. This chapter author's note. This is a first bit of prologue and reflection on Harry's past. This means there are very few, if any, conversations during this chapter, and lots of the results are only mentioned. This chapter will be far longer than others in the future, because Harry is setting up to leave the wizarding world behind. After this chapter, we will have Stargate elements added in. The pacing of this chapter might be off, but that's because I'm trying to fit several years into a single chapter of development. The pacing will be different in the second chapter. How have you considered, author?
Getting it right the first time.
No, not even that. Have you considered, pacing it better?
I mean, yeah. I suppose I could do that.
If
then,
the chapter feels off, then...
Sneaky, if I pace it better, how will I put in an apology author's note and ask people to support me on Patreon?
Oh, it's very easy. See, what you do is in the middle of the story, probably around the time that they drop it, you put the author's note in saying, hey guys, I bet you didn't think I would put an author's note in the middle of the story. You should go check out my Patreon. I'm autistic, so donate to me.
Hold on. I'm checking to see. I still don't care.
Unfortunate. That's autisophobic. Chapter 1. Watching the veil of the arch in front of him flutter back and forth, Harry James Potter, the so-called boy who lived, contemplating his life, looking back to see just how it gotten to this point. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you need a better, dude. You should not have posted this. Like, this is the same shit, like... this is the same shit I'm complaining about in the source material of Ruby. Should not have posted it this soon. Definitely needed an outside eye. The series of events that led to him be in front of Archie could almost be traced back to last week's second year Hogwarts. More specifically to during his battle with Basilisk in Chamber of Secrets, when he stabbed the sword of Gryffindor through the mouth of the snake, one of the fangs stabbed into his shoulder blade, rather than simply piercing his flesh.
No, as you said, rather than simply, this made all the difference. What? What?
When Fawkes cried into his wounds after he stabbed the journal, the tears caused...
No, that's not how any of this work.
No, the tears caused small flecks of Basilisk's fangs still embedded in his wound to fuse with his bone, because that's how phoenix tears work, yep. And more importantly, into his bone marrow. Your shoulder blade does not have bone marrow, as far as I'm aware.
I mean, technically it could fuse to the marrow, either in your clavicle or like the actual like what's the top portion of the arm bone?
Oh,
Like by the ball and socket joint.
Right,
Like,
right.
except here's the problem. Here's the problem. It's saying the shoulder blade, which means in theory it would be going between his clavicle and his rib cage, right?
Yeah.
So unless they're saying the fang, I'm trying to think of this medically. It would have had to have gone in.
Red bone marrow is in the shoulder blades, actually. Interesting.
Today we learned.
Red bone marrow can be found in hip bone, breastbone, skull, ribs, and shoulder blades. Interesting.
So what is red bone marrow?
It is the main bone marrow of the body, producing red, white, and platelets. What does yellow do then? Yellow bone marrow can be found in the hollow interior of long bones, such as legs and arms, and it is made up of fat cells that have an important function in the body to serve as a natural energy reserve. What the fucking Jesus Christ, that is a massive fly. What in God's name? Holy shit!
How big, Sneaky?
Fucking like the size of my goddamn thumb.
Holy cat, well go kill it.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of this fly. Alright, you cheeky motherfucker, let's go. Where you at, boy? Square up. I think I got it.
Well, Sneaky, something that big, either you got it or you didn't.
Well, I hit it in the air with my shoe, and I don't see it anymore, so I think I slam dunked it into the ground.
No, it'll be back.
Probably. Oh, wait, no. Oh, hello, you big-ass thing. Holy shit, you're big. You're dead now. Ha! Anti-air, fire my name is shoe.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Sneaky? This is truly what our audience came for, Sneaky.
I'm saying that I must be half Mexican because I just picked up my sandal and fucking bullseyed the fly halfway across my room.
I'm not disappointed in you. Oh wait, yes I am.
Oh. Getting my hopes up like that. Okay,
you know, I just have to remember it's not your fault that you're uncultured.
Look.
That will not make you cultured.
And blah blah blah, catalyst, blah blah, the result of the fusion between his, like... Okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Are we getting a fusion dance?
Tension. The result of the fusion. made his blood take on the properties of basilisk venom. That's...
Still not how any of that works.
No, it's not.
And before someone goes, oh, but magic yourself out of existence, if you could. Just spare us all the trouble.
Well, no, see, the whole bone fusion thing I could wave off as, oh, magic. But the problem here is that the author is implying because some of the fang fused into his shoulder blade and into his marrow, which, I mean, I will give him credit for that. He did target a section of the body that produces red blood cells, and therefore would be circulating blood into the body. Credits where credits due, once again. However, he's implying that the venom of a basilisk comes from the bone of the fang. Which it doesn't. Comes from the venom sac.
I was gonna say venom is general, at least in animals with teeth, is delivered through hollow teeth.
Yes. And now, if you want to say that, this is actually a common fanon. I don't know how canonical or close to canon it is, but this is a common fanon. That Harry, gets bit by the basilisk, is dying. Fox cries on him. Except for the part where he accidental magics the two together, where it's like the basilisk venom is like supposed to kill him, but the Phoenix Tears keeps healing all that, and his body just assimilated both those traits, so he's constantly, has basilisk venom
himself.
And Phoenix Tears in him, and it's like, that's a common fanon thing. As ridiculous as it is, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Magic, sure, fine. You shrug your shoulders. It's a loose magic setting. But it's just bone flex. Unless you're saying the bone flex fusing with his bone caused the DNA of that area to change, turning his blood into basilisk venom. But even then, saying that because this is the problem with using loose magic, is that when you use loose magic, when you try to science explain why X is happening, then you start running into issues. Well, no, you start running into issues then, because you're like, oh, well, you see, the bone flakes is causing his... Because it stabbed into his marrow in his shoulder blade, and that produces the blood. The bone flakes caused his blood to be venomous. It's like, that, what? If you just said he got bit and now his blood's venomous, I would just been like, okay, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? But now that you've tried to science explain why his blood is venomous, I'm just sitting here like, you're stupid and wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so blah blah blah, stabbing the sword of Gryffindor, one of the fangs, blah 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 blah, catalyst and blood, the fusing, blood, blah blah, it made him immune to all poisons and venoms. That's not how that works either. Again, if you just went with the magic explanation of, because he survived the basilisk poison, the most deadliest poison of all, he's now immune to everything because magic, I would have been like, sure. But now you're like, no, actually, because his blood is now venom itself, he can't be affected by poisons anymore.
I mean, here's the thing, that would work specifically for basilisk, but listen, just because I'm immune to eating poison mushrooms doesn't mean I'm immune to nightshade.
There's that. What's that one fucking Actually, humans are easily adaptable to nightshade.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Not immediately.
Yeah. But no, there's that one spider that produces like 64 types of toxins, and it's just like, what the fuck? But it's a guarantee to make sure if something becomes immune or resistant to one of the toxins, the other 63 are gonna kill you.
I want to see the spider that someday just runs into the completely insane creature that all he's done is put points in poison resistance and just laughs.
There is a guy. It was he's in Utah, I think it was. Over the course of 27 years, he has imbibed every form of venom and poison, I think, on the planet that can be safely taken. And has claimed to build up an immunity to all of them.
I mean, there's a really easy way to test that.
Well, yes, but it also kills him if you're wrong.
Not with most modern medicine, it won't. Just be by a hospital.
Just some of the toxins are pretty big.
Okay, well, so you start with the small ones and work your way up.
Fair enough. Anyway, let us get on with it.
Maybe spend some time. Maybe hang out near a poison control center.
Hello, 911. I would like to report the fact that I have attempted to dose myself with a lethal injection of snake venom in an attempt to test to see if I was immune to it yet. I can, however, point out that I am not. Based on the way that
my eyeballs are bleeding, my answer is no.
I regret to inform you, I am not. I need medical assistance.
Sir or madam, do you need medical resistance?
Resistance?
It's a Homestar Runner joke.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez. Oh, now I feel old. Fuck, Homestar Runner. Oh, God.
Remember when they made an April Fool's video telling everybody they were gonna make a YouTube channel?
Yes.
And everybody was like, "Oh my god, actually do that?"
Yes. Did you know that the two old men on the balcony have a YouTube channel?
What, the Muppets?
Yes.
Oh my god, I didn't?
Yes, so the voice actors just straight up were like, fuck it, let's do it, and then now they have a YouTube channel.
I need a link to the... I assume it's just them being the old men, right?
Yes, yeah.
Good. That's what I wouldn't have it any other way.
I don't actually know what the channel's name is anymore. I saw a couple episodes, but they updated so rarely that I was just like, eh. Anyway, let's continue. Anyway, so his blood now basils venom, and his heart's made of glass, and unlimited blade works or whatever.
I don't quite think that's the way that was going, Sneaky.
Oh.
Looking in the text, I'm reasonably certain that's not where it was going. Although that would have made it more entertaining.
I was bitten by a basilisk, and now I have a reality marble from an anime.
Sneaky. Now my reality marble is to recreate the bathroom.
Oh my god.
Actually, you know what? I would pay money to see Gilgamesh's reaction to being stuck in a reality marble of a crappy bathroom.
Yeah, I still genuinely want to, sell the rights to, or just, see it, I guess, at minimum, of an anime where the entire premise of the story, up to, maybe episode 6 or something, is that the main character is meta-aware of, main character flags. And so they do everything in their power to avoid them. Like, they don't stare brutally off whenever the teacher's talking into the distance. They don't look down at the track field.
They don't talk. They hear sirens in the distance. They walk the other direction.
Yeah, they never run with toast or some food in their hand or anything like that.
They avoid dark alleys.
And then, at episode 6, they finally trigger a flag because they're like, I'm not going to let someone die in front of me just so I don't have to deal with this.
No, see, I want it to be that they go, I will allow someone to die in front of me just to avoid a flag, and that trips a villain flag.
That's a good spin-off series. Keep that in mind in the future. We're gonna have to sell that one too. But you get my point though, like, and then like in episode 6, like the story actually starts and they get sucked in some medieval fantasy or whatever the fuck you wanna, some sort of hidden sci-fi society or some whatever, doesn't matter. Just do whatever. I just want to see a story.
I was gonna say, see, what you're describing is, 1 part Gundam, 3 parts The Melancholy of
That's like
Haruhi
8 different
Suzumiya.
manga. Okay, but Haruhi said that just the loop murdered me.
Yeah, which is kind of the point of the loop.
I'm aware, but it's
Doesn't
just
make
like,
it any more bearable.
yeah, exactly. There's like 8 different mangas that do that, none of them are good. Yeah, I know, right? I want a good one, you know?
We want one
Like,
that won't make
do
us
it Deadpool style. You know?
Oh, what, like... I
Like,
bet you're wondering why I'm not running towards the sound of people screaming in distress. Well, fuck you, that's because I don't want to get involved. Yes, I know you're there, reader.
yeah, exactly. Like, you just... Nothing, you can never fail with the Deadpool style unless you're an absolute shit writer, then I guess you fail with anything. But that is not the point at this time. No, the point here is that Harry is absorbing Voldemort into his brain.
You know, that doesn't seem like a sound medical choice.
Anyway, so blah 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 blah. He learned oculomancy and started absorbing all of Tom's memories and stored Tom's emotions into a separate container.
Just as one does, I suppose.
Yeah, apparently as well. I mean, because there's like no information on how the whole system works. So yeah, these are tried and true cliches of the Harry Potter fandom with how some of this stuff works. Blah 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 meditative trance. Blah blah downloading memories. His magic was changing because the soul shard was decaying. Blah 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 blah. Horcrux broke down. Blah 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 blah. He felt a difference in his magic. It as if a blanket that was smothering him was gone, and he felt super strong and was capable of focusing his magic with just sheer willpower.
As opposed to what? Sheer willpower and an Oreo cookie?
Yes. Oh, yes. Actually.
My name is James Severus Potter, and you will fear my Oreo.
And Gorgio! Fucking flatten someone with a 20-pound or 20-ton Oreo.
I never thought my death would be delicious. You just hear crunching and licking.
You got blood all over my Oreo.
Really? That's what you're upset about?
Honestly, I don't know why they don't use that spell more. So, like, just straight out, just being like, fucking throw a pebble, lol, cancel the spell, it's a boulder now! Surprise!
Yeah, it really does make you sense. Or like, you throw a Hot Wheel at Voldemort. Oh wait, no, it's a Rolls Royce.
Throw cars at people. But yeah, it's I don't know why people like. I can sort of get like why using Engorgio offensively would really work because people could just cancel that and turn it back to its normal size. But what if you just shrink a boulder? You know, like they can't like. I mean, sure they could probably shrink it again, but then they're casting spells to shrink it, leaving themselves wide open. But anyway, so Harry took off his glasses and realized that Voldemort was making him blind. And without Voldemort there anymore, he had just had perfect vision. And also, his magic core was throbbing and massive. And
I bet they wish something else of Potter's was throbbing and massive.
We all know the proper use of Engorgio. Thanks, Seeks.
Of course, the proper use is to buy whatever your favorite donut is and go to frickin' town. Which honestly, that's probably one of the spells I hate the most since it just completely ignores the law of conservation.
What, Engorgio?
Yeah, like also like wizards could have ruled the world in medieval times just with that spell. Hey peasants, come live in my utopia. You can literally never starve to death because I can make one loaf of bread the size of a city.
Well, the idea is that it also like I actually don't know anything about Engorgio, but they not only that, like the other thing though is that they can, as long as they have one good loaf of bread, they can infinitely copy that supposedly without any sort of negative side to that.
Yeah, again, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, there's no reason not to, guys.
Like, oh, you're a sorcerer. Yeah, I am. But have you ever considered infinite free food?
You have our attention.
Also, infinite clean. Everything's clean. Never have to worry about ever getting sick again. And what else we got? Infinite water. Never have to go. Looking for water again. Yeah. I always have the headcanon that they just pulled matter from the future. Well, I mean, they could also just pull dark matter from the sky.
Well, you say here's the problem: if they're pulling matter from the future, that has its own problems.
Yeah, just don't involve time travel, and you're probably better off. Anyway. Let's see. Blah blah. Harry looked at his memories and realized Dumbledore was trying to get him assassinated. And was manipulating him using the Weasleys. And Dumbledore is actually super evil, and is actually a Dark Lord, and is using the mind arts to control people. And so he made a long-term plan to run away from the magical world. He also needs to fix the damage done by malnutrition and abuse. And also take part in some rituals that'll make him, like, have a 10-inch dick, and be super strong, and be super hard to kill, and have an increased healing factor. And be like Kakashi tier reflexes. Evil Dumbledore, this is so unique. Yeah, I know, right?
You know, it never crossed my mind that Dumbledore could have just been a bad person this entire time. Truly, I'm just so shocked that I'm not even gonna try to moderate the excitement in my tone.
You know, it's actually quite funny, because I find that all of the people that think Dumbledore is evil, like, without, like, genuine reasons, without, like, sitting down, like, see, these are the reasons, and from my view of this, it's like, oh, he's evil because he was, like, manipulating Harry to die and didn't tell him stuff. Like, people who think that way I find to prove the rule of attribute not to malice what you can to stupidity. They are the rule. They are just stupid. They are so stupid they can't actually see when someone else is being stupid. That is my opinion, and I will stand by it.
You're just a font of faith in humanity.
I know, right? Let's see. He needs to set up a ritual room. And thanks to Tom, he knows a bunch of subjects now that he never knew before. And he knew a bunch of spells and stuff and rituals and stuff. And his plan was to get really smart and shit and do all the classes ever, so he had lots of intelligence to do things with. And then he was going to get a lot of trunks with expansions inside them. And then he was going to buy thousands of potions, live herbs, and potion ingredients to store them. And then he's going to buy every single book and steal every single book or copy every single book possible so he could have his own library. And of course, he was going to have a mansion inside one of his trunks because obviously, if we needed to use land for housing, everyone would just use trunks.
You know, again, it's kind of there was one person who set up a house in a trunk, and it wasn't a house. It was 2 rooms.
Was that Moody?
Yeah, it was what, 2 rooms, 3 rooms?
As far as I knew, it was like 2 rooms, and they were pretty shitty, and basically he didn't really live in them either. They were kind of just like storage area that he could walk into.
I mean, you could hide a bed in there.
Yeah, I feel like just in general, living inside a bag of holding is just a bad plan.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Now, enough food to last for 50 years stored in stasis. Literally everything is. Okay, so instead of just listing everything he's gonna do, just assume Harry is gonna go full Gilgamesh and acquire enough supplies and luxury items to outfit a small colony on another world. Because surprise mode, that's actually what he's going to be doing in the next chapter. I don't even need to read the next chapter to know that's what's going to happen. I saw a guy convert a storage container into a studio apartment before on a YouTube video. No, actually, this storage container housing, if you do it properly, is actually really good housing.
Oh yeah.
But, however, caveat there, those are not using metaphysical properties that bend space and time like it's a giant rubber band. You have no need to worry about the container, the storage container getting damaged, and then suddenly you have a implosion where you get turned into a marble because the container decided to contract. But anyway, so yeah, he's going full Gilgamesh, and the author just made a list. It's just a straight up fucking list with like bullet points of everything Harry is acquiring, and he's gonna
see, Harry's just writing the list himself. It just happens that you, the reader, get to read it.
Yeah, nailed it. And anyway, so he's gonna go harvest the basilisk, and then he's gonna use that stuff to do things with. And next morning, Dobby, blah blah. He asked Dobby to glamour himself to 25 and change his appearance. And so they did that, and then they walked down the alleyway. And he enters Gringotts. And he went to his account manager, and then he got a muggle identity made for him of the name of James Evan, age 25, with all of the relevant paperwork. Because apparently the Potter family just had identities lying around. Okay, sure.
I mean, come on, what? You're telling me they aren't just Jason Bourne?
Actually, so this is I don't know how much you can take on this. So one of the Wired, I think it was, saw a YouTube video from Wired where they actually had the ex-CIA head director come on and comment on spy movies and their accuracy.
Yes, I did. I believe it was Wired.
Yeah. And as nice as that was, I don't know how much to believe about her dead drop for identities. She's like, oh, we don't have those. I'm just like, don't you? But she did give a legitimate reason of the bureaucracy involved in all of that. Like, and that's fair enough. It's hard enough with the bureaucracy of maintaining a normal identity, let alone a bunch of shell identities that may never be used. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless of that, age 11, the Potter heir, which isn't capitalized for some reason, can access everything. And blah, blah, blah. This left him with 550 million gallons. Literally, he has more gold that exists. This is another one of those stories where Harry has more gold than exists in the universe of Earth.
Alchemy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously. I do remember seeing that before the movie Die Hard. It had such a plausible break-in scenario. The FBI contacted the writer to ask him how he knew so much about the building's security protocols. Yeah.
We need to have a talk about where you learned this information.
Look, fam, we're gonna need to. It was the same thing that happened, I believe, in the '60s with Fort Knox, I believe. Yeah, that's the one with all the gold in it. Yeah, there was a movie about them breaking in to steal the gold, and it was like really accurate to their building design, and everyone in the government was like, "Hey, buddy, where'd you get that?"
Well, it's like when Tom Clancy started writing a bunch of fake books, and the government was like, Mr. Clancy, who's giving you classified information?
Well, no, the other thing with Tom Clancy was that he was making. It was a lot of the books he was writing ended up happening like 10 to 20 years later. Like maybe not those specific events, but similar events like that and similar, paths.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if End War will ever happen. I definitely want to see America versus EU, Electric Boogaloo, Russia invasion.
I
Hey,
mean,
Axel.
Given that we haven't been doing anything to curtail Russia...
Look, all I'm saying is that kinetic striking France. It's on the table.
It's not.
Anyway, so conversion to British pounds would make it 3.85 billion pounds at a 7-to-1 ratio. So not only does he use his own original math instead of using J.K. Rowling's math of conversion, which is the 5-to-1 rule, he uses his own original math, which is hilariously wrong because it's more like 700-to-1 conversion for gold coin to British pound. Brazil will help. Thank you, Brazil. I appreciate your support. When are you guys going to invade Canada so then we can justifiably step in and annex it?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for Russia to cross the ice bridge.
Oh, they have to contend with Alaska. We're not getting past that.
What do you mean? There's nothing for them to contend with. It's all snow and grizzly bears.
And moose. Can't forget the attack moose.
Yeah, but see, You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leak a secret, a U.S. national secret.
Yeah, okay.
Years ago,
Yep.
one of them was inspired by Warhammer Fantasy. He really liked Kislev, so we've prepared the American Bear Cavalry to surprise the Russians.
Right.
Nothing.
think
I just
it'll
wanted
work.
to let everyone know that we had Bear Cavalry.
Oh, yeah,
Haha.
okay, yeah. I think it'll work.
I mean, look, you see a bear. Look, you see a midget sitting on a grizzly bear with 250 cals. You're not gonna stick around.
Look, all I'm saying is, if the Polish trained bears to carry artillery ammo, just saying.
Ammo. You don't need to train it to carry ammo. You know the weight a bear can. You could strap a mortar to a bear.
Yeah, but that would upset the bear.
No, you just train it to be a pack animal.
Yeah, but the explosions coming from the mortar on its back would upset the bear.
That's what tranquilizers are for.
Then that defeats the purpose of the bear. Now, see, the Polish were onto something. So what they did, they trained this bear to carry ammo for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever someone needed ammo, they would give a signal, and the bear would bring them ammo. And what are you going to do about a bear bringing someone ammo? Shoot at it? Probably, yes, actually, but it's a bear. Check fanfiction to be disturbed.
We're so off topic, and that's my fault. I do apologize.
Guys, I have a what the fuck? Ruby 8. What the fuck? Is this Wattpad? This is
What the hell are
Wattpad
you
or
looking
something.
at?
In the
Hold on.
fanfiction.
Yeah. Let me pull up the Discord.
Jesus Christ, Axel.
What am I supposed to be looking at? Here.
It's circled in the second picture.
Ah. Ruby.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, back to this garbage. Anyway, so blah blah blah. Specialty trunk shop. Each trunk came up with a kajabillion cubic meters of storage space. Also, it was impervious, feather light, password protected, cannot be moved unless you give the password. And
hey, you know what Magic hasn't managed to do yet?
What?
Genetic tests. Wait, no, they did. Why would you use a password? A password can be stolen. Literally use your blood.
Bleed on us. Some blood can be stolen too, you know.
Okay, yes, but Sneaky. What am I more likely to notice? Someone.
What if in the future we have blood banks being raided by private military mercenaries and shit, right? And they're being raided because this thing they were hired to crack into was, blood or DNA, secured. And so instead of trying to kidnap this super high end VIP, they track down the blood bank that got his blood donated to for the Red Cross Day or whatever.
Well, no, see, that's when they find out that the guy's like a type O or whatever, and they're like, ah, damn it, we'll never be able to steal it from a blood bank.
Every other blood, it's just all on a shelf. Fucking type O, was it negative blood? Yeah, O negative. Fucking, it's in a hyper secure vault, surrounded by 4 guys on steroids. Wearing 7 inches of steel plating. I love how every other thing is pretty normal for the most part, and then suddenly there's just a list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, let's see. Each trunk came charmed with natural sunlight. Okay. He bought 100 trunks. Okay. Yeah, I was joking about the whole, outfitting an entire colony. But yeah, that's. Oh, yep. Okay, so his super deluxe mansion trunk is going to be really edgy and beautiful looking. It's gonna have a set of gardens and a villa and a courtyard. Basically, imagine like a Skyrim mod, like one of those super massive house Skyrim mods, where it's just got literally everything you could ever use in the game in it for no apparent reason. Like completely lore unfriendly too. That is this. That's what's going on right here. It's like the freaking. Anyway, so he picked up a moleskin pouch to carry around his purchases. And the cost of his first stop at a shop was staggering, nearly 20 million gallons, with a large chunk of that being the manor trunk. Yeah, buddy, I don't know how this shop is even in business anymore. Like, if some dude just came in and gave me 20 million gallons, and I was just like, "Yo, man, make me shit," I would just be like, "All right, well, you're gonna be my last customer because I literally never have to work ever again."
Yeah.
The trunk just looks like a plywood crate and someone burns it. Well, you see, the trunk is actually immortal because it's been charmed to be impervious. See, now this is where it gets into silly and stupid levels of like, oh yeah, of course it's unbreakable, and of course I'm half and half on this, right? And the reason why I say that is because on one hand, I kind of want like the magics to be conflicting. Like, oh, well, yeah, you see, we can fit like a house inside of the chest, but due to the magic buildup involved or some shit like that, right? We can't actually, charm it to be feather light. We can't charm it to be, shrunk, and we can't charm it to be impervious because that would interfere with the expansion charms on the inside or whatever, right? I'd be like, oh, all right, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, like, I can't really say the author's stupid or dumb and wrong for, going this route of like, oh, you can fit 10 bajillion miles inside the trunk and it can be shrunk and it's immortal and can't be, lost. And it's like, okay, yeah, fine, because there's nothing saying you can't do that. There's nothing in the Harry Potter rules inherently saying that, that whatever you're saying is impossible and can't be done. But at the same time, it just feels so. What's the word I'm looking for? Gimmicky?
Yeah.
Where there's no difficulty there. There's nothing. There's no challenge. Like, oh, I have to keep this trunk safe because I live in it, so I gotta make sure I'm always putting it in a safe place. And maybe someone attacks the trunk one day when I'm outside it or some shit like that. And it's like, oh no, I lost everything inside it or something. Like, it just.
I mean, look, all I was gonna say is this: look, even games where they let stuff go completely off the walls, like say Pathfinder. Pathfinder's like, look, you can only make an item so magical.
Right.
Before one of two things happens. It implodes or it becomes self-aware.
Right. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. If Harry just had one trunk, and the gag was the trunk was turned into some kind of like mouthy sentient magical item, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that would be mildly amusing. But it's just like there's nothing saying you can't, but that
Common
doesn't.
sense says you shouldn't.
Well, not even common sense says you should. Rational, deliberate thought says you should. Because when you have a area that cannot be breached, that cannot be stolen, that cannot be damaged, that you can hide in almost indefinitely, and you're capable of carrying it wherever you go and deploying it within seconds. What's going to be the conflict here? You know, what's going to be the conflict? Oh no, Harry is in space now, and he has to stay inside his trunk because his trunk got spaced. Or buried underneath dirt and shit. He can't open the trunk door anymore.
Yeah.
He's dead. Okay, so that ends that conflict. Oh no, Harry has lost his trunk and now he has to go retrieve it. He has to stop them before they're capable of opening it. That sounds a lot more interesting. He doesn't want to lose it. He's got to safeguard it. He's got to take extra narrative precautions.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's weight to it. Now there's positives and negatives to it. It's not just a complete positive. Oh, and then it's like on one hand, say he does get this trunk and it's super magical and has all the whiz bangs and dingles and tongles and whatever. It's like okay, but Harry has to spend every last cent of Potter money to make it. He is now flat broke and has to come up with a way to maintain his lifestyle, which is to mean eating food.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's interesting again because now you've introduced a new conflict. Except the problem here is that Harry has $10 bajillion and spent only a micro fraction of that on literally infinite food and water and safety that can't be breached. It's like, oh, okay, so there's no conflict there anymore. And whenever Harry's in danger, he just plops the fucking trunk down and leaves.
The universe is going to implode. I'll be back in 30 years, maybe? Just every once in a while, he opens up the fallout shelter, pokes his head out.
It's just like there's no drawbacks. Nothing makes this story interesting. No challenges being set up here. Like, and then the author set up evil Dumbledore. It's like, okay, it's evil Dumbledore. Everyone's fucking seen that before. But maybe he'll do something different with it. Maybe Harry dreams of getting this trunk, but evil Dumbledore has deviously emptied his accounts, and he has to fight the Ministry and fight public opinion to get his money back. Or
even if just evil Dumbledore lets it be made and then has the shipping address changed to him.
Yeah, or just
like something that simple.
And then he has to plan a raid on Dumbledore to steal his chest back. Just literally just do something with it. No. Again, problem was introduced. Evil Dumbledore. And then immediately the next line after, yeah, but Tom's memories gave me an advantage on him, and he just completely plots around evil Dumbledore, and evil Dumbledore never does anything because he's evil Dumbledore, but he's also incompetent as all hell now that Harry's actually doing something. And it's just like, okay, what is the conflict here? What is the setup here? Oh, Harry just goes into space! Oh! That's
more
the conflict?
I would say, more importantly, the problem is, so we have Harry with the magical ability to solve all of his problems, right?
Yep.
Well, here's the problem. That's not going to go away when he goes to space.
Well, no, you see, that's why he's doing the rituals to make him super strong, super fast, able to react to anything, super smart. and be impervious and resistant to all forms of elements. Oh, just standard rituals everyone has access to, but no one's ever done before.
Or if you're gonna do that, make it so that when he does that, have it be so that everyone around, so that like all of like the normal mage kids around him are like, wait, you didn't have the unbreakable bones spell cast on you as a child? And meanwhile he and Hermione and all the other mudbloods are like, I'm sorry, the what?
Yeah. And see, again, like, there's so many things in this story that could be used as plot points to, be the function of the story, and the author's just introducing them and then paving over them because they're not actually a function of the story in terms of actual plot. They're just there to show that Harry had a challenge and then overcame it. Without actually needing to describe what he did to overcome it or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Because as far as the author's concerned, at least, at the end of the day, Harry is super strong and he's amazing and he has all the food and money and all the clothes and literally anything he could ever desire. He's got it in a trunk somewhere, and his trunks can never be stolen. You can never lose them. They're impervious to all damage. Okay. Great. Harry goes adventuring, and he's super strong, and he's super smart, and his magic is massive, and so whenever he runs into a problem, he just casts spells at it, and then he wins. No, there's nothing in the SG-verse, unless the author contrived something that's somehow anti-magic. There's nothing in the SG-verse that could possibly, present a challenge to Harry when he's super strong, fast, and able to react to anything. Oh no! Nanobots are eating everything! I'll just hide inside my fucking trunk. Oh no! The gold are invading! I'll just hide inside my fucking trunk. Oh no, I've been captured by the gold! But actually, I'm just stronger than all of them, and then I'll just cast wandless magic at them, and then beat them all. Oh wow, such conflict, much wow. Anyway, let's keep going.
I'm just not saying anything. I have nothing to add to the tirade.
Yeah.
The perfectly justified tirade.
And so then he bought all the potions and all the ingredients and all the seeds to make his own ingredients, and he put it inside his trunk to start up a herb farm inside his trunk. Okay. And then Harry was like, yo, Dobby, even though I've freed you from the Malfoys, can you still access their vaults? And Dobby was like, yo, boy, I can. And so then Harry was like, wow, they should have patched that exploit out of Magic a while ago, and has Dobby steal everything. Blah blah, and then blah blah. Dobby says he's gonna go with Harry into Arch of Death because reasons, and blah blah. Dobby goes, collects a posse of elves, blah 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 blah. Asking Dobby how many elves he'd be able to bond without negative effects put in perspective on how much magical power he had. Dobby informed him that he was now 3 times stronger than any wizard, and was able to grow stronger over the next few decades, meaning he would be able to bind hundreds of house elves without any drain.
Good for him.
With all the information he had, he now hatched a plan to save all of the house elves by tricking them all by tricking all their masters to releasing them to Harry. Blah blah blah, massive preparations, blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. They executed their plan. Blah blah blah. Rented a large warehouse. Blah 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 blah. Asking Dobby about rituals led him to the room of requirement. Blah blah blah. Then Harry remembered Tom already knew about this. Blah 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 blah. During his walk, he felt magical entities. Observing a hound that was strikingly similar to one of his earlier memories in the bushes, in the blushes. It's the bushes. There's a magical glow about him. He took a guess because Harry also has Mage Sight now apparently, and he can just see magic. And he's just, oh hey, this is my godfather. Hello, dog. That is my godfather. Oh yes, you have explained all of the things to me. I now believe you and want to help you. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. He destroyed the locket. Blah blah, and creature magically changed into a happy, loving house elf that loved his family. Blah 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 blah. He decided to not stop being friends with Hermione and Ron, even though he knew they were manipulating him as per Dumbledore's plan, because he didn't want to tip Dumbledore off to the fact that he was knowing of his manipulations. And the train ride was super uneventful.
Hey, so because I don't respect this story at all and don't care about it in the slightest.
Yeah.
Each of Voldemort's Horcruxes.
Yep.
Let's say you were to use the Geass power on it that can only be used once.
Right.
Could you just order him to kill himself every time? Or do you think it would only work on one?
Well, I think you answered your own question. Because if they are separate entities, then you could use them on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
If they are the same entity, then your order would carry over to all of them.
Mm. Oh, wait, actually? Oh, no, wait, no. No, never mind, I'm sorry, it wouldn't, because I just remembered, because he ordered... Oh, wait, no, but it is different, because when he ordered his dad to off himself, his dad came back in the same body.
What?
There's a scene later on in the anime where he orders his dad to kill himself, and his dad comes back to life.
And he can't use it again?
He cannot.
Yeah, so like I said, it just really depends on how you want to roll it.
And like I said, I just asked that to get us off track because I don't respect this story at all.
Jesus Christ, we're almost done. For fuck's sake.
No, we're not. Oh, with the story?
Yes.
I would say we're not even close to done with this show.
Alright, so, blah, 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 Marauders map, blah, blah, rituals, blah, blah, blah. It was a cleansing ritual that removed all foreign magic and traces placed on him. And this would prevent the Ministry from tracking him. Okay, so I'm gonna be real with you guys, right? So I hate stories that are like, oh, you see your wand has a trace on it, and that's how the Ministry can tell that you're using spells. So if that's canon, that's a J.K. Rowling retard moment. I mean, genuine mental development challenge in this section right there. See, the reason why I'm saying that is because if the Ministry only can monitor magic being cast through spells, then how do they find Muggleborns? So, if they're capable of finding these children before the parents even know what the magical world is, that clearly means the Ministry, at least Britain, is capable of detecting outputs of magic. Maybe not specific spells, but definitely outputs of magical instances. And they can tell where and when it happened. And from who, even. So, it would then make sense. Everything would make sense. Maybe don't look too deep into it because your Rowling is a shitter. So that's how they find Muggleborns. That's how they can tell when Muggleborns are using spells because it's a fucking dead area of no magic and suddenly spell flare, boom. And that's why they can't tell when children are using spells in heavy magic areas because there's so much magic there. It's just like, oh, we don't know what happened. It's just a lot of magic there already. There's no flare for us to track. Maybe they don't know specifically who cast the spell. Maybe they're like, Harry Potter is recorded to live here, so therefore when magic flares here, it's probably Harry Potter. Okay, fair enough. Maybe can only track flares of magic, Maybe there's limitations to it. But at the end of the day, saying that the tracking spell itself is on the wand is stupid as all hell. Because why doesn't all the adults just use wands that don't have the tracking spell on them? Oh, that's illegal. Okay. And that stopped any of the adults in the Harry Potter series? But anyway. And so he is doing more rituals, and he's super strong, and has a massive throbbing magic pool now. Blah blah. He took Scabbers out, and he totally just stabbed Scabbers, and killed them for the ritual, and ate his soul to increase his magical power.
Now, maybe I'm just being picky, but I can't imagine you get a lot of magic power from a rat soul.
That's because Scabbers is Peter Pettigrew, the actual person who betrayed Harry's parents.
True.
Which she obviously knows because he has all of Voldemort's memories. And then Dobby found a bunch of elves that would be loyal to him. Blah 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 blah. And using his Tom's knowledge, he developed a indexing stone, which allowed him to place it in his library and then find any book he ever wanted. Blah 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 blah. His house is super fancy and amazing, and it's really comfortable. Blah blah blah. Runic arrays, ambient magic into his trunk. Blah blah. Yeah, the tricky process here was that if too much magic was funneled into the trunk, then it would explode. Really? So you don't think making a 250 acre plot of land inside the trunk and then also spelling it to be able to shrink, expand, become impervious to everything, and weigh nothing is too much magic? But it's definitely too much magic to grow plants. I see.
See, it was the plants that was just the last drop.
Yeah, the plants were just the last straw. Can't grow plants. Also, this ritual would prevent everything from degrading, so nothing would degrade anymore, and he would never have to worry about maintenance on any of his trunks.
Wow! Wow! The ability to just ignore entropy. Could you maybe whip that up for the sun?
And his final addition to the trunk was Blood Wars that would ensure that it would just teleport to him whenever he wanted it to. Oh,
So
wow.
there goes any possibility of us going, oh, it got stolen.
At the end of the summer, he got a surprise invitation to the Quidditch World Cup, and blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. And then a dozen Death Eaters attacked, and he killed them all, and then retreated. And then everyone was like, "Oh my God, bodies!" And then everyone was like, "Oh my God, Voldemort's alive." And fourth year was very annoying because it was a Triwizard tournament, so he ignored all of his classes so he could do other stuff. Blah blah. And now in his fifth year, he got access to his family properties, and blah blah. Blah blah blah. He liquidated all of the properties the Potters owned so he could have more gold. Because he was burning through it all, doing his stupid ass dumb shit.
A tad late, but at least they're trying to make money a problem.
He only had $100 million left. Using the extra time, he did more rituals, and his bones can't be broken anymore. He can't have magic cast on him anymore. He can regenerate limbs and throw boulders and trees. And now he also got cat-like reflexes. A steel blade would still cut him, but it would have a hard time doing so, and he would heal immediately afterwards. And it'd be incredibly hard to ever hurt him anymore. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Using Tom's memories, he discovered the Deathly Hallows, and so he planned to steal them all from Dumbledore. As the author is now affectionately referring to him as the Dumbles. Blah blah blah. On his first try, he finished the library index stone, and it worked perfectly. Blah 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 blah. The task was to get a fake egg, so he just teleported to the egg and then left. Blah 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 blah. Then he went to the ball with Fleur, and he was immune to her powers because he was just that good. And let's see what else is going on here. Blah blah. He captured Ron and he brought him back. Saw a maze. He got teleported to the graveyard, pulls his wand out, and vaporizes Baby. And then he kills the snake. And, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. He trains really hard and does a bunch of magic and stuff, so he's really good at that now. And he does more rituals, which using basilisk venom and phoenix tears, he cured his malnutrition.
Just like that, huh?
Okay, sure. The final ritual he was doing would be a permanent aging ritual. This ritual would age him up to 25 years old, and then slow his aging by half for the rest of his life. Because obviously Dumbledore did this one too. Once he awakened from the ritual, blah blah, yeah, he looked refined and elegant and chiseled jaw with rippling pecs, and he was very very cut from marble. He was, and he then proceeded to banish a potion of living death into Dumbledore, and Dumbledore then passes out. And Harry steals all of the Deathly Hollows, and he feels his magical core eating them. And then he was inexplicably twice as thick afterwards.
I'm sorry. What?
What?
What the hell does twice as thick mean?
He was twice as thick. Anyway, so then he breaks into Dumbledore's office and steals a bunch of shit from Dumbledore's office. And then they're ready to go. And so he taps out and jumps through the veil with over 100 elves inside his trunks, over 100 trunks inside his trunk, and super strong, super fast, super smart, with magic beyond anyone's wildest imaginations, literally decades of intelligence and spells, and never had to work for a single bit of it. Wow, sure looks to be a very interesting story.
I was gonna say, why couldn't we at least have a story that paid attention to the basic bag of holding rule?
Because that would limit their creativity.
Ah, we see you've made the bold decision to place a bag of holding inside a bag of holding.
I shall be right back.
Hole in the universe. Well, Sneaky's left me all alone with all 5 of you that are here. We're pretty much done with the chapter, so I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to be doing here other than vamping to fill time, and I've really got nothing. So, talk to me, chat. How was your day? How are you guys doing?
I appreciate your intense efforts.
Well, you didn't leave me a lot to work with.
Alright, so let's see, how long is this one? Long. That one's long too. That one's decently short. Maybe. No, this one. No, that's long. This one? Oh, that's long too. Jesus, all these are long. Oh, here we go. Here's a nice short one. Alrighty then. Let us wrap up tonight with a Naruto effect.
Oh, good. Just gonna scrape the bottom of the peanut butter jar tonight, are we?
Hell yeah, boy! The unwoven threads of fate. Don't you hate it when you wake up and you don't know where you are? Me too, except I woke up in another universe. A semi-self-insert original character
How much
story.
is that? Semi-self-insert.
75 chapters, 638,000 words. It has been updating continuously since May 13th, 2016.
Oh, thank God! For a second, I was afraid you were going to say May 2013, and I was going to be like, "That's it. There's no hope for humanity."
What's the difference?
Like if it had been going since 2013, I'd be like, the fact that people are still reading this is depressing.
Well, it's got 3,000 favorites, which is a decent number.
A depressing but not insurmountable problem.
Breathe, Namika, breathe. We practice this. In, out, in, out, in, out. Fujita, shut up, Namika shouts at her doting husband. You're not pushing out a baby. I can breathe however I want. Okay, so it's just your standard cliched birthing scene. I wouldn't know actually how birthing scenes happen, like in real life, because I slept through my stepmother's when she was having a kid. I got woken up at 11 p.m. and they were like, "Oh, she's having the baby." I was like, "That's great." And they're like, "You're getting in the car." Fucking fine, okay. So I get in the car and we get to the hospital, and I see a couch over there, and I just passed the fuck out on the couch. Slept 7 hours. Everyone else was still there when I woke up, and they were all sleepless because none of them slept. I laughed at them. So anyway, generic birthing scene. The baby's not crying. Blah blah blah. It's not uncommon, you know. Your name is going to be Alvarkius. That's a very Japanese name. I had parents and friends and a job, car. I died. And then I woke up and I was a baby. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. So standard, fantasy from a baby's point of view thing, and that's it. That's the story. It was the character realizes that he is now he's been isekai'd, and that's the end of the chapter. Wow, that was the easiest chapter I've ever read through.
Hooray, we're done. Stream's over. Time to go home.
I mean, we really don't have enough time for anything else. We're at 8:40. Is there anything we should talk about in the fanfiction verse? Any news that's happened?
It's not ever since we started doing this show, it's a realm I dip my toes into less and less often.
That's fair enough. Let's see. Rooster Teeth blowback, but everyone's probably heard about that already.
Oh, what'd they do this time?
The whole pricing changes thing. Firing Grey Haddock. That fun stuff.
I was just curious if there was something new.
No. Nothing like that. Well, if that's gonna be all, then that's gonna be all. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Have any series recently that I would recommend? Any stories I would recommend? Honorbound. I would recommend Honorbound. It's a Warhammer Fantasy Mass Effect crossover in which Shepard, during the events of Mass Effect 3, I believe, after the Crucible is fired, I believe it was, Shepard ends up in the Warhammer Fantasy universe. Very
Oh
good
yeah, yep.
story.
It's definitely after the Crucible because everybody's like, because it's like, oh, Reapers are gone.
Right, yep. So yeah, Honorbound, and it's been completed, so that's another good point for it. Honorbound is a very interesting, fun story. Starbound is its sequel, which is the Warhammer 40k Shepard from that story. Anything else would I recommend recently? No, not really. Comics are in the shitter, so that's nothing new because apparently people don't have original ideas anymore, as if we didn't already know that looking at
Actually,
fanfiction.
I will say this: there was one comic that I picked up.
Oh yeah?
It was on Free Comic Book Day. It was called Punchline.
Okay.
Um, I don't want to say too much about it, but what grabbed me was the cover art. Um,
Is the
it's
art
about.
actually good?
Here's the thing: I've only read the first one,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't like speak to the rest of it. But superheroes are a normal thing in the universe.
Okay.
It, and this girl meets one in the park, and she's like, "Oh, I've always wanted to be a superhero." And the superhero's like, "I can do that," and just she's like, "I'm tired of being a superhero," and just gives this girl her powers.
Okay.
And book one is basically just that happening, the reason why, and then a little bit of a fight scene.
All right.
And it's not like an anime thing, and it's like even just the scene in which it happens.
Eat my hair.
No, even just the scene in which it happens, the character giving away the power is just like, "Are you sure you want this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I've always dreamed about it." Okay, you have it now. Excuse me? And
Well,
basically just goes, "Yeah, it's your problem now."
all right. I dig that.
Unfortunately, it only had a limited run, so that's why I haven't read any of the other. Because by the time I'd gotten to a comic book shop, they were on to like 4 or 5, and they aren't doing reprints.
Right.
So I'm probably going to pick number 2 up,
Mm-hmm.
through an app or something.
Right.
So like I said, so like I if it all goes to hell in 2, I had no idea.
Well,
I haven't read 2
you
yet.
see the upside these days, because I do tend to follow comics a little bit, like not too much, but occasionally I'll check in with like Ripa and Diversity in Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen so far, is their first issues tend to just be fucking dumpster fires from the start. So if this one isn't, I got decent hopes for it. All right. Well, since that covered about all the topics we could talk about, and I'm getting successfully inebriated, I think it's time to close it on off here. Thank you all for showing up. Of course, go out and tell people about this podcast. Bring more people in. Of course, the more people we get, the more fiction we don't have to read. And I'm sure everyone's interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your motivation. But otherwise, I will see you all. Is it Tuesday or Friday? It is Friday. I will see you all next Tuesday because there is always more and it always gets worse.